Hi guys, welcome to another instalment of Breaking the Silence with myself, Luke, Kimberly, and we have Glenn with us tonight.
Hi guys, I'm back.
Obviously with Glenn being in the army, it's been hard for him to get with us actually on the table. It's always been on Skype and Zoom and stuff, but now he's here in the flesh.
Yeah,
we're having a bevy.
Luke can't keep his hands off us.
That's why I've got to sit in between them to keep them separate. So, yeah, okay. What was that?
And we're going to talk phone apps tonight with Brian Holloway. He's a developer of these apps, and we'll ask him how they work, how they are created, and what we can do to better my understanding of them, really.
Get a deeper meaning of what we're actually using. Yeah. I think that's where we're going wrong into this video.
It's just the wrong education.
Yeah.
We've got the wrong education. We don't know what we're doing really, essentially.
Hopefully Brian is going to be able to
produce more insight.
Yeah.
Should we get him on?
Yeah.
Just give him a ring. Right, yeah, so we thought we'd get you on tonight to have a chat about these apps, and because you develop them, don't you? You create them.
Yeah.
And then I will be the first to admit I do diss them, and so I thought, why not, instead of just dissing them, bring someone that develops them,
actually knows more about them and
educate us in it as well.
Yeah.
As well as everyone else. So
yeah.
So yeah, I do diss them. I'm not a full believer of them, but hopefully after tonight I will be.
But he still uses them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I still try them, don't you? You still got to try it.
If a lot of people do diss them, that's the problem we've had for a long time. But like yourself, it's all right to diss something or not sort of trust them or believe them. But the problem is there's a lot of fake ones out there. That's the trouble.
Yeah.
That's what we're fighting against more. A lot of people that sort of like have rubbished them recently, it's because they've used some dodgy ones and they rate everyone then on that.
Yeah.
And like what we said, like what you're doing, at least you think you want to learn more. And that's what we said. Go on, like what Sam always used to say, go and do your homework. Do your homework.
Yeah.
And look into the apps and how they work first. And then obviously do your homework trying to lock onto a reputable one or one that, you know, isn't done by a dodgy developer or anything like that, and give it a try.
Yeah. See, I'm quite open-minded to a lot of things, so for me, I love trying new things. That's for me and in differ.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think, Glenn? This is Glenn, by the way.
Hello, I picked the accent up straight away. I'm from Pensham myself, so I'm from Pensham, not far from Durham.
That's close to my neck of the woods, yeah. My original neck of the woods. I'm from like County Durham way.
I picked your accent up when Kim was showing us some of the lives that you've done previously in the past.
Yeah.
I was just more. I like them. If it's one of the ones you can't really tell, can you? Mm-hmm. So like when you're doing them on the phone and the apps, you get interference of the K2 is going to go off or something else is going to go off because all the interference with your technology in the phone.
Yeah.
If they work, they work. But then again, you got the same type of instruments with the actual radios itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm skeptical at the same time, but also I'm more like, we can give it a shot and try it, because sometimes you're sitting there and like we did it today, didn't we? We had one tonight, we're eating the pizza. Yeah. And then Luke was asking what are we eating, and it came out, it sounded exactly like pizza. And we're like, oh my fucking second, what's going on here? Like,
well, that's the magic. I mean, like you say, we've been doing these things a long time, and you know, it's like what you think. Again, it's about depends what apps you use, what developers use. You've got to trust that they put nothing in there, any planted audio, as we say, and things like that. But like when you're sitting there and you eat the pizza and you ask when we've done similar things where we've done a live and we've said what are we drinking or what's Sam holding, and it's named it like that, just straight off. How do you explain that? And again, if you understand how the apps work, which I'm quite open to fully explain how the app actually works and how our apps actually work and the principle behind them. And once you understand that, it's even more incredible that these things are actually coming out.
Yeah. How did you come about creating an app then? What made you want to create an app?
That is a very good question. I started I'm not going to tell you how long ago it was I started, because I'm not going to admit my age, but I started a long time ago, and the very first apps that I used were the classic, like the Ghost Radar back in the day.
Yeah.
But that was very early days. I was just messing around with it. didn't really 100% trust it, but I thought it was an interesting concept. But as we know, like now, that one's not exactly, you know, the one to go for. It's a bit dubious to say the least. But what happened then is I sort of used it for a bit, then I just stopped using everything like that, just stopped it. And then in the last sort of 8 years or so, I moved out the UK, I moved to Gibraltar, and I got involved with a TV show there. And I got in contact with a guy who everyone will know, Danny Roberge, who did Echo Box, and asked if we could use it on the show. I just wanted to try something again, you know, just experiment. And that was the first, what I call the first proper ITC app that I used. And I sort of liked it. We got some interesting results with it. But I sat and thought, it's good, but it's using forwards audio. It's got chopped up, I think it was Edgar Allan Poe at the time, audio clips chopped, and it cycled through them rapidly and at random, but it was still forwards audio. And that leads to a problem that you get false positive, you get false hits. There's going to be forwards words already in there. And I thought I would love to be able to do something myself and go down a slightly different path. I didn't have a clue how to do it, obviously. I was completely clueless. I was lucky enough to fall in with a group of friends and a little program that was being run to help people, pardon me, develop their own apps. Sorry. Choking. Talk about technical problems. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I just learned from scratch. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. It's not COVID, I promise. Oh God, no, what it is when I'm at work, like I was at work today, I do a lot of cleaning. We've got a lot of products we squirt around, and sometimes they just catch us and get on my chest a little bit. Place is going to kill me. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought it was an emotional story, to be fair.
Oh, it kind of is emotional. No, it's yeah, kind of, Sam's burning a lot of candles as well, which might not be helping. No, like I said, I got into a program that helped us learn how to do this, how to code these things. And then I got on with a brilliant guy, Javier Sanz from Spain Paranormal, and we kind of worked together, and that's how some of the early apps started. And from the very beginning, I thought, let's take out the forwards audio, because just like a ghost box, a classic ghost box, what we like to call a broken radio, that's broken by design to scan through radio channels, you've got the same problem. I love them. I love how they sound, and I used to love using them, but forwards audio. So we use reverse audio. We take the audio, whatever we put in the banks, and we chop it up into little tiny sections, then put it back together randomly, and then reverse it. So it just comes out as complete gibberish. It's complete backwards audio. There's nothing forwards. And just in case, because people bandy around the word pareidolia quite a lot, we listen to those reversed banks so many times, it's not even funny. Well, I literally driven myself insane listening to these banks over and over again, and we take out any sound that may even sound like a word by accident. So,
I get you now.
yeah, see, a lot of developers don't do that bit. They just
so they chunks of words in, so it sounds like exactly what it's going to be.
What you want to, yeah.
So a lot of developers, they jumped on the reverse bandwagon after we started doing it, but they just then reverse the audio, slap it in, and off they go. But you can get even on reversed audio, little bits that do sound like words.
That's a question on that one there, Brian. Is that one because it's cheaper? Would it be cheaper to do it that way, or?
No, it's just laziness.
Right.
Basically, yeah. It extends the process a little bit, obviously, because I'll listen to a bank, we'll find anomalies, then I'll listen to it again and again and again and again, and me and Sam's just gone through these banks many times. We can go through each individual bank like 20 times until we sure we've removed practically any sound that sounds like a word. And then we then test again till we're completely happy. And what we see is when you run these apps, say you run one of our apps and a single word comes out, like pizza or and or if or Brian, there is no way that can be in there, even by accident. It's not in there. I mean, obviously, you've got to trust me saying that I haven't just planted that word, but we don't. We pride ourselves in being very open of how it works.
Okay. And how do, it's probably a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How do spirits sort of manipulate that then? How do they use it to communicate?
Simple, or spirits can manipulate energy, can manipulate sound. Because technically, an EVP, if you use just a digital recorder, a spirit doesn't have a voice.
Yeah.
So some people say they imprint directly onto the digital recorder, but I believe it's more they can manipulate environmental sounds sometimes to create a voice. So what we do, the principle is, with the way the app works, and again, I'll explain a little bit of how the app actually works.
Okay.
So you've got these banks of reversed audio. Just say we've made an app with 5 banks. So we've got 5 separate banks of audio. And sometimes we use human tones and sounds because that's what a spirit would most understand. Because it used to have a voice. So we take male, female, young and old, sometimes, and their voices, like I say, split it up, chop it up, put it back together, reverse it. So what happens, the thing, you've got those 5 banks in the app, and all the app does, there's no pre-programmed special algorithms, there's nothing weird in there, it's a simple random. We keep everything as random as possible. So the app says you've got 5 banks, it picks a bank at random. First thing it does, so bank, it'll play, I'm going to play bank 2, and then it'll decide how long it's going to play that bank for in milliseconds, not seconds, milliseconds. And then it plays that bank for that set amount of milliseconds, but it'll also play it at a random volume, and now we do it at a random pitch every single sweep.
Yeah.
And it does that so fast that it's doing it in milliseconds, so it'll just be going swapping banks all the time. So you'll get this cacophony of random gibberish human sort of tones and sounds. And what we believe the spirit can do, it can take those sounds and those tones, manipulate them, and pop out a voice. Simple as that. And that's all the app does. There's nothing sort of weird or like, because a lot of people who think like try to take the apps apart, they say, oh, it's got pre-programmed algorithms to make sounds. I think it doesn't. Every stage is just completely random.
Yeah.
My thought of with these apps, does it record your voice with a microphone?
No. Now I'm not saying others don't.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you can turn internet off, you can turn the microphone off, you can turn every bit of the phone off by the screen and the bit of the phone that is the computer, and it will still do exactly the same. It does not listen to anything. It does not pick up any of your data or access any data at all. And like we've told people, put the thing in airplane mode. You could put this onto a device that doesn't even have an account, a Google account or any information on it, and it will still do exactly the same.
That's good to know. Yeah. So when I said I diss these apps, because like the ones I've used, it wasn't any of yours. Like I say, what I've spoken, it's like you said earlier, it sounded like me.
It sounds like
it's just sounding like what I've said, and it's just like it's mixed it up a little bit.
It depends on the app. Now I'm not going to name names of apps because that's
no.
But I have been asked by some people to look at certain apps, and yes, that's a thing. That is a thing. And sometimes it's easy to spot those. Like you've said, you'll say something and it'll come back in what sounds very familiar to your voice and things like that. So, and if you install an app with the modern apps, they ask for permission to access your storage or your microphone. If they start asking for permissions to access everything, there you go. Why do they need to do that? They shouldn't need to access anything.
That makes sense. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because we actually used one of your apps, didn't we, on the last live that we did? Which one was it? It was I've got it on my phone actually. I think it was the one that begins with A. Come on, I've got it on my phone.
Axiom.
Axiom.
Yeah, that was a one we did in collaboration with the Axiom team, because we do like collaborations as well with different teams that want an app doing for themselves, and we sort of think so that one. And again, was
Yeah.
if you just use what they ask for is they use their voice pattern at the team for that energy as well. So that was one of those that did that. We just got them to record random things that were important to them or meant something to them. And again, what people think is it's irrelevant to what they say per se, because we sliced and chopping it up and reversing it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just for the tones, because as they read and stuff, your pitch and tone changes slightly as well. So it gives a nice flow and a nice randomness to the audio as well. But yeah, that was another one we were very proud of. Yeah.
With it being reversed, does that give it the sound of it sounding in like a different language?
Yeah, because people said some people who've run the apps and they weren't quite sure how they work said it's speaking in a foreign language. I said no, it's not speaking in any language. It's reversed. It's just gibberish.
Yeah.
But again, right from the early days when I first started making these things, it still blows my mind, and it did from that day, what was actually coming out of these things. I mean, the very first one I ever made, again, which was a long time ago, I just developed it. It was the very first one I was working with Javier. We were just sort of getting the code sort of right. And I just, for the very first time, I had the banks in, I had it sat in front of us on a phone, I pressed go, and I was just asking questions, and I started getting replies. I'm like, my God, how? But then I asked, the clearest one I ever had, I just had this woman come through, and I just said, what do spirits see? I was just trying to think of questions to ask, because what do you ask if you start to get replies? And I said, what do you see? What do spirits see? We know how we perceive you. How do you perceive us? And this woman, as clear as you speaking to me now, said, we see everything. And she had tone and inflection in her voice. Now I know that wasn't in there because I made the thing. I was the one who put the audio in there. And that's how clear they can be when they work. It was crazy.
So in reverse to that one, when you see like the work and that, have you had any problems with them not working or like doing investigations? Any malfunctions in the software and something like, well, where's this come from? What's happened here? A bug. Like, a bug for something.
Well, we've had bugs. I literally not in like getting false things out of them because of bugs, but we've had them crash obviously and just shut down and things like that as we testing them. But no, by the time we sort of get the app to where we're using it ourselves and we send it out to people to test, we pretty much passed the bug stage. It's more we into anomaly hunting, because sometimes what we do is when we used to send it out to testers and they will run it and we listen to their lives and their videos, and we're listening for patterns again that may be an anomaly we've missed, and if we do, we take it out. Like I said, the longest part of developing these apps is the anomaly hunting. Getting rid of all those anomalies. So when you hear something, I want to be sure, me and Sam want to be sure that when you hear something, we can confidently say to you, that cannot be in there. Not even by random fluke or chance can it be in there. The only way that can be in there is something has manipulated that audio.
That's cool. To be fair, the way you're going on about this sort of stuff's kind of putting us more on the respectful side of it. Because I'm honest, like the amount of time and effort you're putting in for the likes of going to see people's lives to see how it's working, and you're going, you're sitting there obviously with Sam, you were saying, writing it down like that shouldn't be there, that shouldn't be there, that should be there. Or if it does come and go, for example, like that isn't down to the app or us, that's possibly spiritual connectivity of where it is. But to me, it's like more. I would have thought they've just been filtered through something like you do, like for phones and stuff like that. Filter them through. There you go. Boom. There's one. There's another one. There's an app done. It sounds like you've put a lot of time and effort. Into this sort of like development that you're doing for yourselves.
We do. To be honest, me and Sam's got OCD with this sort of stuff, and Sam especially, she's very passionate with the audio, and she will watch even when an app's been released. We're happy with it. We're fully released. She will still watch people's lives, singing it.
Yeah.
If she as much as picks up on anything, we have to update it and push the update icon and get it out, because we wouldn't.
Is that more pride on yourselves in a sense of you don't want the bad feedback coming back because they've sold as a fake one and your name gets tarnished? Because you know what some people are like, once they hear one bad thing, instead of giving you a chance to say, listen, I'll take it back, you've got a new update coming in the next 20 minutes, it'll get itself sorted out. Some people go, nah, stuff that, I've used it, it's done, I'm not playing with this anymore. And then so you know your name's tarnished through the dirt, and like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, again, we've had that many a time. Your name's been dragged through the dirt with these apps so many times now, it's not even funny. But no, the main reason we do that is because we're passionate about what we do. We believe in these apps. We believe in what they do, and we want them to be just as perfect as we can.
Yeah.
We're sort of perfectionists like that, and we want people to be happy. I mean, if we hear an anomaly that we've possibly missed, even after the app's released, I couldn't, in all honesty, just leave it.
No.
I want to remove it and then push and think, just so these things are perfect. And obviously, it's for the people who are using it, because people who believe in our apps are using them. I don't want someone then to say to them that could be an anomaly in there, and it comes, good. Then like what we said, it then comes back to us, but it also is on them as well, that they're using something that then someone would say is flawed because it's got an anomaly in it.
Yeah.
So we want to remove that and sort that out as soon as possible, and then get it out again.
So from design to finish, how long did it take you?
It can take a long time. We actually do get asked that quite a lot, and it can take months and months. I mean, I'm working on some now, but there's a lot of stages. We've got to go through. Like, if we're doing it for ourselves, it's a little bit easier because we know what we want.
Yeah.
Graphically, we want what we want to look at, what we want to sound like. But when we're working with other teams, we've got to go off like what they want. You design something, send it to them. You say, no, can you change this, this, and this? And it's surprised how much they do want changing sometimes. So we just go through that stage, and that stage alone can take weeks and weeks and weeks just to get the look just right. I mean, I famously once spent 2.5 weeks designing a button, a single button. I drove Javier insane with that back in the day. Yeah, we were just we were doing the code, and he was smashing stuff out. And I just, no, this is not right. It's not right. It's got to look right. And I just kept going and going and going and going and going. But yeah, it can take a long time. Like I say, the coding can be problematic, and depending if we change, like the new one, we've introduced, like I said, a random pitch change as well in real time, which was a pain in the backside to do, basically. But that took a bit longer. But the longest bit of all, like I said, is that anomaly hunting, getting the audio right.
Yeah.
Got it right, because at the end of the day, that's what the app is. It's about the audio. It's about the sound.
Yeah, that's a main selling point, isn't it? Everyone wants to hear voices come through and someone communicating back with them. So.
Exactly. So that's got to be right. And even that stage, picking what we want to put in. Sometimes, like Sam dealt with a lot of that recently, and she doesn't just pick. We don't just pick random stuff and throw it in there and reverse it. Very particular about what goes in there. And Sam did a lot of time hunting all this stuff out, getting the sounds right. Because if you've got multiple banks, if you just put random stuff in, they don't sort of work together. You know what I mean? It just then becomes too noisy and messy. The banks have got to sort.
I think you can hear it just clashing everywhere. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not doing that anymore. Like.
Yeah, because you can't tell what's going on.
Yeah. Exactly. So we sort of each bank, even though each bank's different, we try to so it's not got a pitch down here and a pitch up there. You know what I mean? It's like keeps it fairly even. And it just helped, because some of them, like I said, I've ran some others that's not ours, and it's an assault on the ears. It's pretty rough.
So when we used the last live we did, I found that there was a lot of stuff we actually missed in terms of hearing like a sentence until I actually played the footage back. Like you can full on hear a sentence which is connected to where we was, which I found was really interesting. Even you was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What's the best evidence that you think that you've captured using your apps?
Oh my God, we've caught some saying stuff when we've been doing the lives, walking outside. It's those replies where you ask the question and you get an answer like that.
Yeah.
There's no gap. There's no waiting. Like you know when you watch people use a proper ghost box and they'll ask a question, and there's like 30 seconds go by, and then you get a voice come through on the thing. That's sort of like a bit thing to me. You want that straight away. And that was the principle when we first started doing the apps. We wanted to bring real-time communication as close as possible. No waiting, again, EVPs are cool and everything, but you ask a question, you wait 30 seconds, you stop, you play it back, you listen for the reply. This, you just ask a question. And if you get a reply back straight away, and like I say, we've had full sentences, we've had different languages confirmed coming through. When we've watched lives, we've got people from all over the world watch, and we've had people from Germany, from France, Switzerland, all over the place, and they've said, I've heard, and then translated what they've heard for us in real time. Which again, how?
Yeah, that is interesting.
That is very interesting.
And the best thing someone ever did, they ran a live and they forgot to turn Google annotations off. Live annotations, and when they asked a question and the reply came out the app, Google Annotations, it was that clear, picked it up and actually put it on screen in real time.
Yeah, wow.
I
Again.
was saying to you about earlier about picking up the microphone. Is it a bit like Alexa or something? And it tells you.
Yeah.
See, like all these
it did sound like your voice come back through the mic, and I was like, "Oh, it sounds like you."
With all these things in your phone, like Siri and stuff. It's
That's what you got to think. If you get stuff like that, that would make me a little bit sketchy, a bit suspect about what's going on there. But like I say, I do know of other apps that have sort of made claims that are not true, and some that are like that I think do some lock into maybe GPS, or some have access to the microphone and things like that. That's the problem. Those are out there, and there's nothing unfortunately we can do about that.
But the ones I have downloaded of yours. Not any permissions. It's
always been straight down.
It's just a message come up that's saying, "Oh, this app was created for."
Yeah.
Just press OK, and that was it. So.
No, I did like I said, it doesn't need access to anything. Yeah. All we use, and again, people have said it's this stigma. They say you'll go to an investigation and someone will pull out, like say, a ghost box or a K2 meter and things like that, and they trust them 100%. When in fact, a ghost box, like I say, is a broken radio. Yeah. It was never designed for ghost hunting. We just found out that spirit was supposed to be able to communicate through a radio, so someone then designed one that could continuously scan and take out radio stations and things. K2 meters never designed for the paranormal. They were designed to find wires in walls. But they can detect EMF, stuff like that. But as soon as you say to someone, "I've got an app on a phone," as soon as you say the word phone, their eyes roll into the back of their head. It's like, oh, for the God. And I'm why? It's a computer. All a phone is, I know it can make a phone call and you tap the thing, and it can do other things, but in principle, it's a mini computer in your pocket. It's just circuitry and a screen, and that's all we're using. We're not using anything else of the device. We just have using the microprocessor as a computer, the screen to display it on, and the speakers to play the sound. That's it. And I just don't know what it still puzzles us. And that was the thing for the rant I did the other week. Yeah. Oh, I've lost audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We must have a dodgy webcam because it did it the other day.
But it's interesting because when I was telling Dan about the rant that you had, and you mentioned about the fact that people don't believe it because it's on a phone.
Yeah.
I was just saying you would think that people would, because there's been phenomena connected to phones, like people have had text messages from the dead, have had phone calls from the dead. So I thought that point that you made was really interesting.
And that's a thing we've tried to pick up on and sort of tell people for years now. A spirit can manipulate all sorts of devices, but they'll believe any other device. And like I said, devices that were never meant for the paranormal. I'm still not saying they don't work, but we found out that they can work, but they were never designed for it. And the mobile phone's no different. It's just, I don't know why when you say, mention the word app, as soon as you mention the word app, people just lose their mind. Some people just lose it.
Yeah.
I think it's because it already had, the app, it already had a downward spiral towards it, or like a bad name against them anyway, didn't it? Like, it was already naturally, it wasn't well thought upon, it wasn't well liked, was it, at the time? Because everyone's like, oh, we're going to keep our walls, we're going to go with Ouija boards, we're going to use the spirit boxes, we've got our balls that'll make the lights and that go up and that.
Yeah.
And someone's tried, it's every time someone tries something new, I'm not part of that, no, I'm not part of that. It can affect it, it can affect it that way. But then at the same time, talking about phones, well, it's just one big, massive pot of energy, isn't it? And essentially, the data's going through it all the time. There's always something circulating with the phone coming in. Like when you put it next to your computer, you'll hear that. Well, you've got to get a text in a minute.
That was some people that think all this equipment works and it's 100%. Yet you're talking to someone that's potentially not there.
Yeah,
that's the main concept, isn't it? How do you know a spirit's even going to be talking back? Is it even a spirit? Like, what's even there?
Well, that's what we've said. I mean, when we've run the lives and we've run these things, I've always said, people said, "Oh, you're talking to ghosts." I said, "I don't know."
No,
I said, I've been doing this for 40 years, and I still can't 100% tell you. I said, we know we're talking to something, and it's something that's intelligent and knows a lot about us. We seem to be talking to potential family members who relay memories back, but we still don't know 100%.
Yeah. No, you're right.
The intriguing thing is, to me, is not what we're talking to, is the fact we can talk to it at all. That something is communicating back using these things that we're using. What is it? Where is it? It's like that $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I often say it's the aliens talking about.
Oh, no, for God's sake. Oh, look what you've done, Brian!
Sorry.
How long did that take him? That's it, under half an hour?
About half hour, yeah. Alien mad Brian.
Well, some people have said that, yeah, we could be locking into different dimensions, aliens.
Yeah.
I've even been accused of working with aliens to make this stuff work. You know, it's like,
Oh, wow.
I got accused of having my own satellites. Beaming.
Satellites?
I am not joking. This is actually serious.
Or crew, like, is it?
Yeah, people were rubbishing us, and people were actually accusing us. They said, well, what it is, the way he's a con artist, because he's got it's on a phone that can communicate, and he's got a satellite. And I said, hang on a minute, if I could afford my own satellite, would I be making a free app on a phone? Just to make you think you're talking. And then someone said, it could be alien technology. He's got access to alien technology. And I actually sat on a live stream one day, and I said, can you just listen to what you're saying?
The County Durham Roswell. Like.
Yeah. I said, you'll believe that I'm contacting aliens, or I've got my own satellite, or all that, rather than believe we contacting spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
So I've got a question for you, Brad. So you said before you've done this for 40 odd years, right? Obviously, you want to knock your age and stuff like that. What is your more specific or attracted way of investigating now? So you're saying all this 40 years ago and that when you first started up, I'm assuming you're going to have the old, obviously, Ouija boards, the power of communication, like what we'll do, like parlor games or parlor tricks and that. Would you now bring more technology into it, or if your apps and that aren't giving you enough satisfaction, would you then turn back to the old ways that you know? Or we
do both. We actually still use some of the old techniques. I mean, people think we make these apps and we go running off into buildings with mobile phones in hand and tablets. And we don't. Stop the chest and also we don't. When me and Sam go and investigate anywhere, we walk in and we use the most important tool that we've got. Us.
Yeah.
We don't switch anything on. Nothing. Yeah. We very rarely use K2 meters anymore. We sort of losing faith in those a little bit and how accurate. You switch one of them on, you got a mobile phone within 100 yards. Yeah. Exactly. So there's other ways around that. You can use tri-field meters and things, and other things that's been designed now that can filter out your mobile phone signals and things. But K2s, no. We just go in and we just feel the building, feel the energy. See where we need to be, and then once we start, listening to the sounds of the building, feeling the energy, see if we can just Then exactly, that's what most people don't do. They go in and, like you say, you see them on the TV, and they actually strap. They look like an SAS assault. They've got the flat them jackets on, and it's just cameras on their heads, kitted out completely, and they go in lit up like a Christmas tree. Yeah, and they just don't know what to. No, just go in. Turn nothing on, nothing extra, and just stand there. Just stand there for a while and listen and feel. And then when we feel pulled a little bit, or we feel like something, or we can feel something around us, then we then start trying to communicate. And then we maybe pull an app out and see what we can sort of pick up on.
Yeah.
But
let's go there and build a bit like we'll stand in a circle, we'll get together, build the energy up, like close your eyes for 10 minutes. So if you're coming out of the light anyway, and you're turning all the lights off basically. You've got to readjust your body. I think it takes 15 minutes for your eyes to adjust. Exactly. I've started thinking like why do we ghost hunt in the dark? Why light a candle and stuff like that so you can actually see what's going on and stuff. So like say it's all about feeling the building first and then getting your equipment out instead of like I say rocking up and boom, what's that?
Yeah, straight away.
Just being in the corner having a wee like.
I mean, we feel bad. We went to an investigation recently, and we walked in, and everyone came in with these cases, cases of equipment, and we walked in with a little bag, and it had my tablet in it with a speaker. We had a couple of little bits, but that's all we needed.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
So we've got the same amount, we've got all these cases and that, but it's more for when we're having investigations for the guests and that, because a lot of people they've seen it, but they haven't exactly touched it or been involved. You know what I mean? So we'll come with other cases and that, and we'll do we'll split with groups and that. And we'll let them have a go. You let the guests have a go. You can seem a bit sceptical or a bit shy at first, but it's more to see what it's there for. And if you've got questions, come up to us and ask us. What's here for? Like all this stuff here is not to make sure of anything. They have been used in the past. They are tools in the paranormal investigation field as such. But if you find something nice, we'll only take 5 or 6 items out of it. And that's it. So I won't take many, but it's good for them. It's got a little box, haven't it?
Little box.
Well, we used to do the same, when we think because we had more equipment, it was to show people who weren't used to, like you said, like what you said, weren't used to like what we do. This is some of the equipment we use, and and again, people who watch the paranormal, they do like the flashy lights. They really do. And things like that, and so but when we're doing it ourselves, without anybody else we just use the bare minimum.
So how many apps you got then altogether?
We've done a few because obviously we got into the thing where we were doing them for ourselves, and then teams started contacting us and said, "Will you do an app for us?" Then another one, the thing. So we've got quite a few on the go at the minute, but it's a lot of team collaborations.
What would it cost you for a team? Do you charge the team or?
It depends. Normally, what's happened is the team will come to us and say, "Will you make us an app?" And I'll say, "All right. Do you want it just for your personal use?" Which that means I would have to send them the code, the app itself, or do you want to give back to the community? If they'll give back to the paranormal community, we do it for free.
All right, that's cool. Yeah.
So what would your classes giving back to the paranormal community?
If they say we can actually put the app ourselves for free on the Play Store. If they let us do that, then we don't charge for the app as well. It's free. We do a lot of work, but we're happy with that if they're given back.
I thought you meant like in a sense of advertisement. That's what I thought you meant.
No. I always say to any team that contacts us, if you're willing for us to make it, and then we can put it on the Play Store for everyone to enjoy and use, and free, and they say yes, we say right, that's it. We'll do it for free. We just make it and do it, and it's put up there.
So all your apps kind of like the reverse audio, or do you do something like say the Alice box? Do you do anything like that?
Done apart from reverse audio is like an obelisk type one, which was basically there are a few out there similar, but they were just what I class as random word generators. They didn't detect anything. They just basically spat out random words at random times, and the principle is the spirit then can manipulate that and pull a word out that's relevant. So what we did, we found out that we could use the phone or tablet's magnetic compass to detect an electromagnetic pulse or a field, just like a weak K2. So what we did, we built that in, so it has it's not as accurate as a K2 meter or a tri-field meter or anything like that, but we proved that a magnetic compass on a phone can pick up an EMF pulse, either from your computer, from your TV or whatever, or supposedly from a spirit. So instead of just picking a random word, it has to get an EMF spike first. Something has to manipulate the energy around the phone before words then pulled out.
100%. Cool,
So I'm coming away from apps at the minute, but would you reckon, say, if I was to build something to do with magnets?
He's got an idea.
Do you think that could kind of work? What was I thinking of? That's the EMF.
You know what you're thinking of.
What's it called? EM pump.
Oh dear.
It spins a magnet around. It's supposed to give off this energy. And when you spin it, when you spin a magnet, it's meant to generate electromagnetic fields and stuff. So what I was thinking, say a cylinder. It's like I say, with 1,000 magnets inside it. Spin it at a certain amount of speed. Could that pick up energy or create something?
It would create energy because, like I say, a spinning magnet will create an electromagnetic pulse. So if you had because normally an EM pump is one little magnet. little tiny magnets. So if you stick 100 of them and start spinning them around at a decent speed, I think you'll probably generate something.
So if I did that, say I've got like a little motor, I'm going big scale. To fit a person inside.
Yeah.
And then put, or a Tesla coil and put that inside it. What do you think that could work?
Well, again, I don't know what reaction the Tesla coil inside a magnetic tube would have. I wouldn't like to be the one who switched it on and stood close to it when you first tested it, yeah. But the theory's there, yeah. If you had opposing magnets as well, because you know, like if you put magnets together, they stick. But if you put opposing magnets together, they create a repellent force. If you had them spinning together, you'd probably create the world's biggest EM pump, I would have thought.
I'm just thinking that's something to carry. I'm going to need a trailer as well to put it in.
But to be fair, you've got that idea, and Brian's setting off satellites in his backyard. So to be fair, I mean,
yeah. Elon Musk here. I mean, I'm doing next week. You know what I mean?
The Holloway Starlink.
Yeah, the Holloway Starlink. Yeah. Just so you can talk to a supposed ghost on your phone down here.
Going back to the apps, not magnets. What advice would you give teams so they can get the best sort of results from using the apps?
The simple thing is, and again, Sam's always said this when they're using them, just keep going, keep trying. If you use the app and you get nothing, don't be discouraged.
Yeah.
Because you can. We can. We don't get results every time. It's not like we switch these things on and we just get voices. We can sit there for quite a long time, sitting just looking at each other, wondering what the hell's going on. So
an investigation is like fish, isn't it? So you never
exactly. That's what people don't think. People watch too much Ghost Adventures on the TV. Oh. It's like not like Miami Vice like it is on there, where people are just diving around and spirits are attacking from every angle. We can, as you know, we can sit there.
Ouija boards next, you know, like that's a 99 pence a home bargains. Yeah. It's an 8-year-old plus game. Yeah. It's nothing just about them.
We can sit there for hours, as you know, just sort of staring at the wall. And nothing can happen. But yeah, just keep going with the app, because you've got to remember, if you've never used one of these apps before, it's new to you, but it's also can be new to the spirits around where you are. You've got to sort of invite them, say, look, you know, please come forward, use these sounds, explain to them. I've always said, people, explain. I know you sound a bit daft, you're talking to thin air, but explain to them. You can use these sounds to communicate with us and just invite them in and just build up that momentum, build up that trust.
It's like a sentient spirit, or it is. Yeah. And it depends what era they are. I mean, if you're looking at medieval times, you're looking at whatever, 20, 30 years ago, maybe 40 years, you're never going to know what a mobile phone is, but they haven't got to know how to communicate and stuff. So to explain it like baby steps as such would probably be the best advice, to be fair.
Exactly, because we have actually had spirit refer to the phone we use as like a light box and like weird terminology. They haven't called it a mobile phone. So it shows that even though they say, you know, in spirit you're supposed to know everything, but I think, you know, that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes spirit can be trapped in the era that they died, you know what I mean? And so they're not quite think so just explain and just keep going and just keep experimenting and trying and eventually it'll get better and better. Plus your ears get attuned, because obviously when you're running the apps, there's a lot of sound still going off and it's reversed audio. And you basically, what happens is your ears start tuning that out, so you're not aware of it as much, you're not concentrating on it as much, you're more tuned into the forwards audio that's coming back at you, rather than the reversed audio that's being blasted at you.
Yeah.
So what you create these apps for other teams, and what apps have you created for yourself?
Well, we're working on a new one at the moment. We've created some of the earlier apps that I did were just for us. The team collaboration ones came in later, but we're working on one at the minute. The Ostium, that was the Ovilus one, that was ours. That was just for us. Yeah. Because we could. We're working on one at the minute called Veritas, which is the one that implements the new feature we've never used before, which is the random pitch change in real time, and that's given some really good results. Really cool. Yeah. At the minute, we tend not to get as much time to work on our own stuff as we do on like what other people have. Yeah.
What do you recommend I download that now and to try now? What do you think would work?
Any of them.
Any of them.
That's confidence I had. That's fucking confidence I had. Get in. God, no, stick with that, Brian. That's you up the fucking dig.
Yeah.
Just try new one. We just put a new one on called Paranormal Darkness, which was a collaboration with the Paranormal Darkness team. That's a new one that we've put on.
So,
Shall we have a little listen to
have a
it?
little play,
Yeah,
see what we
that's got
get.
5 banks of audio plus an ambient bank, because he wanted an ambient bank in that one.
So there you go, just by Brian Holloway and some other humble Paranormal Darkness. Don't ask for any permissions, just press to continue.
And you just hit the go button. It's simple as that.
Where's go? That one.
There we go.
That's ambient.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
There we go, here we
Just
go.
Can you hear it?
Yeah. The nice people are listening, it's just gibberish.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what I'm drinking?
I thought I heard a little voice there, what's that?
Yeah, I did.
That's not, yeah.
Would you like a beer? What would you like to have a drink of?
That's a beer.
That's a beer.
That's a beer.
See?
Fuck's sake, man.
That's not in. That can't be there. So again, for all the skeptics watch, how do you explain that? I know again the skeptics will say, well, it's just listening to the microphone. But as you saw, you installed that live. It asked for no permissions. It's got no access to anything, nothing, and it clearly said beer.
Yeah, I think it's opened my eyes to actually what goes behind making these.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort, that, isn't it?
When you
It's a lot.
one, you don't think about the sort of how they put this together, and you just click it on and there you go. So I think it's definitely opened my eyes a lot more.
Well, the hours of
It's
watching Brian, as soon as he hears about it, listens to it, talks about it, and they're both sitting there just listening through any noise and that. And
oh my God, with me and Sam, I've been sat with my head on this table, you know, just like, oh my God, you know, just completely zoned out because we just listened to them that many times, and we'll listen to them all these times, and we sort of then think, right, we've got them all. We'll then put them back in the app. We'll go over there. We'll turn the app on, and Sam will say, "I just heard one." It's like, oh, for the love of God. And then we go again. Take them out, play them all through until we find the anomaly, and then rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal sometimes. Yeah, it's like.
So when like I say, we used it recently, and there was quite a harsh tone sound coming through. Like it sounded quite
demonic.
Like demonic, and because we had some of the first time ghost hunter, and he's hearing that. So for him, it was like, oh my God, that sounds demonic. And I was
Baggins walked in. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I said, oh, I have to ask Brian about that one, because obviously I didn't quite understand how it fully worked. Now you said obviously with the different tones, and it's
Just a low tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, low tone. What we do is we take obviously, because the human voice has got ranges for like a low voice like mine up to high pitch, so we try and fit as many in. Obviously we kind of bombard and put too many in. But it again depends what the team wants as well. So a team will ask, can we have like really low frequency tones in up to mid range or high? So that one had just really low tone.
Yeah.
And when it's firing rapidly, it just gives it a bit of a weird sound. There's nothing in there that's meant to sound demonic. It's just a low. Yeah. It's like Veritas, the new one, because it changes the pitch. There's already a low male tone in there. And then when it changes the pitch and it dips the pitch, it goes really low.
Yeah.
And because it's sweeping rapidly, like in milliseconds, it just gives it a weird sound.
Yeah.
Like say,
Veritas got a meaning?
Veritas means, what was it in Latin? Truth. That was it. Truth.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, simple as that.
The thing is with tones of voice anyway, just because you've got like a scary sounding voice doesn't mean you're a bad person. Like,
exactly.
You know, you're just, I mean, look at me, you know, you hear my voice and think she sounds like a witch, and I'm not, just, you know, well, you'd probably say I am, but...
I'd say people put too much emphasis on like the lower tone, like they'll hear a deep voice in the app say something, it's like, oh my God, it must be evil. No, it just so happens that for some reason it just manipulated that part of the sound. It just meant something to it. You know, it's more about what it says rather than how it says it and what tone it says it in. I mean, we've had some horrific stuff. I mean, if you watch some more of the lives that me and Sam did, the language, at one point we nearly had to censor it.
Wow.
Because Sam would come on, it would say, Sam, you're a, I can't even repeat the word, and called her a witch, slag, slut. Now, them's just some of the ones we can repeat.
Yeah.
And she used to say, oh, well, like, we're after an interesting start tonight.
They're all the novelties.
Oh, the novelties, get them out, get them out.
Pull the satellite down, right? Pull the satellite.
But the crazy thing, when we started getting them, you know what we did? We went straight into the banks.
Yeah.
Went through and said, they're not there, not even by accident. But some of them were so clear. And they constantly call for Sam.
Is this all in your house, by the way?
Eh?
Is this all in your house?
Yeah.
Well, that's even worse.
Yeah, we're just sitting around the table sometimes, and like in this house, the house we moved from, it doesn't matter where we are, we'll turn them on, and initially the very rarely they say my name sometimes, but it's very rare. But initially we'll turn them on, and within a couple of minutes you'll hear Sam, and she'll say yes, hello, and then it's a flip of a coin whether she gets like a polite, you know, hello, or like F you, you know. It's like,
I don't know what to ask her. Like, I should got an attachment or something. What's going on here? Like,
yeah, we believe it was a certain entity that at the time that was not so much an attachment, but it took a bit of a dislike to Sam, and because Sam's into sort of the witchy side of things as well.
Yeah.
As you know, she's known as the Whippy Witch and things. And she does like.
That's her.
Yeah, she does all. She loves everything like that. So I think it maybe this entity calling itself Michael took a real dislike, and it got that bad that every time we went on live, we used to say we apologise ahead of it. We don't have a beeper machine or anything like that. We just apologise if you hear anything. It's out of our control.
Have you noticed anything? I mean, I know you mentioned that you've had a bit of activity on your lives at your home. Do you think that maybe the activity might have been sparked by the fact of you making these apps?
I don't think it was sparked. I've always had activity around us anyway, and so has Sam. Yeah. I've had it since I was a child. I just think this has given it a medium that it can vocalise what it really wants to, which, you know, has been that sort of stuff settled down a little bit now. It's not quite as bad. It just went to a stage where it was really becoming an issue, real issue. We still get the odd thing. I mean,
every app you had was this same guy Michael coming through.
That's the crazy thing. And what we've shown is, and we've done it on a recent investigation. We'll run an app, and we'll get specific names coming through. We'll just pull a name out the hat. This is not a name, but we'll get Bob, say, come through. We'll get Bob, and he'll give us certain information. We'll turn that app off, and we'll run another app to see if we can get collaboration with our. And Bob will come through again. Yeah. And we've actually gone, say, through 5 apps in a row, and the same guy's coming through, the same information, carrying on the same conversation now that he was having previously.
That is interesting.
Yeah, that's a very interesting one. That's
and we can't. The only way we can explain that is we are talking to an intelligence. We're talking to something that it doesn't matter what we're running, it just keeps coming back and speaking.
That's
relevant.
That's good.
Yeah. The reason why I asked that is because a lot of people out there believe that like certain pieces of equipment can open up these portals, don't they? I mean, I'm not a believer in that, but I know that there are some people out there that do believe that. So I was interested to see if anything had heightened or.
It's the thing is whether you run an app, whether you stick a Ouija board on the table and use that, whether you use a K2 meter sat in the middle of the table to communicate, or some people use the flickering of a candle. You open a doorway, you're opening a line of communication, so it's irrelevant what you use. It won't necessarily just open a portal, because we had people saying that. There's people say, I ran the app and my house went mental and we opened the thing. I said, no, what was there was already there.
Yeah.
You've maybe piqued its interest that you've ran, say, the app or something, or you've now made a conscious effort to communicate, and it's the thing, but the app didn't do that. It can't. The app is just a medium for the spirit to use. It's just creating that audio for the spirit to be able to manipulate. No, it's like it doesn't matter what you do. That's what I tell people. Make sure before you do this, doesn't matter what you use, that it's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes once that doorway is opened and you talking to them, they're talking to you, it's sometimes
They don't leave you alone.
no, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Yeah, they sometimes they keep coming back.
Yeah, I think the future holds for apps then.
Well, I'm hoping. I mean, there's a we've got a problem at the minute. Hence why we had the rant.
Yeah.
There's a lot of groups at the minute. If for a better phrase, are jumping on the bandwagon. There's a lot of things they want to rubbish apps at the minute, and it seems popular thing to do, if you know what I mean. That it gets them attention, and they don't care whether the apps work or not. It's just they'll go on a live. They say, "Oh, we go on a thing that apps don't work," and people come on because they love a bit of drama. But we're just as passionate the other way.
Yeah.
And we'll never stop. We'll never stop trying to tell people. And like the way I've tried to do it is like what we've done here. I've been open and honest.
Yeah.
Tell people how the app works from literally the ground level up, exactly what it does. Just be open and honest and just try and do what we do. And it's like what we've done tonight. Just that little demonstration. Just show people what is possible.
You're working as well. So you got you got your full-time job and this to do in the background. It's.
I'd like to see I'm more inclined to use them. I'd like to see I'm more inclined.
Yeah, but
In Sam, we're working about 4 or 5 jobs. You know what I mean? We cleaners, so we out all the time. So, but we still try and do as much as we can. You know what I mean? And I am starting to catch up on a few projects now. Like I said, we just released that one. Ironically, when I released that one, I thought I'm nearly there. I'm nearly caught up. We're working on Veritas and a couple of other things, but then I've just been contacted the last 2 days, and there's another 2 on the go now. Another 2. So.
It might be free after tonight.
Well, I've always said you cannot get any better than for like yourselves as skeptics. If you supply the audio, you know what's in there.
It's very bad. We haven't got an argument then, have we? It's all down here.
If you 3 sort of said like thing, and you sit and spoke, and you sent, and you know what your voice sounds like, even backwards, and that's what we've done for the teams, and you put it in, we split it up, we reverse it, you know that that's you. And then when you get it, like what other teams have, when then you get a voice coming through that's speaking to you that isn't like bad Scottish coming through, broad Scottish coming through an app, but no one speaks Scottish. That
they'll still say it's me, you know. They'll still say it's me.
Yeah, if you are interested in Brian and Sam's apps, you can find them on the Play Store or the Apple Store, wherever they're used on the app. I'm not keen with the Apple Store.
Apple.
We don't thing with Apple. We only Android at the moment. We have been asked.
Android, that's good point.
Yeah, on the Play Store.
Where else can we find the details for people looking?
We kept it simple. Everything you can find us on Facebook. You can just search my name, Brian Holloway. You've got our Facebook page where we post all the paranormal stuff, which we've just changed the name recently. What did we change it to? That was it. Haunted Whitby Paranormal. I've got to ask because it's that new. I say it the wrong way around.
Yeah.
Haunted Whitby Paranormal. You can find us on there, and that's where we post all the lives. And on my wall, people can just, if you want to send me a message on Messenger. I'm quite open to people sending me asking questions, anything like that. And on the Play Store, you just search for my name. If you want to search for the apps, just search Brian Holloway on the Play Store, and they should all just pop up.
Awesome.
Cool.
Any more questions now?
No. I think that's it.
Oh, well, ladies, get on tonight, and
Yeah, thanks for
you for
coming
joining
on.
us.
And,
Oh, thanks for inviting us. It's been a pleasure, and I'm pleased. Like I say, yeah. I know you were skeptic, but I hope that's answered a few of the questions for you and made you think.
That's a lot of questions for them, honestly.
Right.
A lot of questions.
if I do, like I say, when we're out tomorrow night, so
we're out tomorrow night, yeah.
I can say I trust you, so I'll probably use your apps instead of everyone else's.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Hopefully,
It's nice hearing from the person who's quitting.
Yeah.
It's a massive respect for
You
doing
sort
that.
of put a face to it,
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot more trust.
Yeah.
There's a lot more trust.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
thank you for coming on.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Good night.
Cheers. Thank you.
Hi guys.
Again, thanks a lot, Brian. That was a really good insight to the chat, wasn't it?
I really enjoyed that.
That was a good eye opener to these apps. But we did that little experiment with the one he had then. We only did a little couple of minutes because obviously we couldn't hear each other. So it did say beer. So should we give 5 minutes to go now?
What, you want to do another 5
Should we
minutes?
give 5 minutes? Oh, it's a little couple of minutes.
Like I said in the interview, a lot of things you miss when you're in the moment. So when I listen back, there might be some more.
That'd be
sound.
cool. Okay, if you can't read or find it hard to read, can you point to that or that? Oh, point to it. Sorry. Can you say what it is? That or that I'm pointing at.
Alien?
Really?
Ghost.
I thought I heard alien. Did anyone else hear alien there?
I just heard ghost.
What's this I'm pointing at?
What I need. What I did then, did you?
I definitely heard the first time.
It's been really
That
interesting.
was an interesting
Podcast, hasn't it,
podcast.
really? Yeah.
I think.
The interview was amazing for me. Like it
Yeah.
opened my eyes up massively. Like I thought, like I was one of them people where what Brian was saying beforehand. Like once you mention apps, my eyes would go off for fuck's sake. I would roll in the back of my head. Like, but speaking to somebody who's created them, I generally do believe that this guy's actually he's not trying to blag us. He's like when Luke downloaded it, it wasn't asking for his microphone usage. It wasn't asking him to use his data. It was a straight up. We've made this. Press OK. That's it.
That's what my issue was with them. Kind of when you obviously you've got your phone, and is it accessing your microphone? Is it accessing the data from your phone? And then like Brian says, if it only does that if it's asking for permission to access that kind of stuff.
But what he said to us was
Like
you
it
can turn
says,
the internet off,
yeah.
put it in airplane mode. You can literally go anywhere without any signal,
Yeah.
and it'll still work the same. And
So
to be
what-
fair, I trust him a lot more.
Yeah,
definitely. So I'll probably use his apps more.
Definitely going to be using them a lot more, I think.
Like I say, we do Play Store, go into your search bar, type Brian Holloway, his apps will all come up. What it's called
Yeah,
is-
definitely would recommend giving them a go.
It's got a few there. I'm going to download a few tonight and for us to use tomorrow night on our investigation.
Yeah. And see
yeah.
what we get.
Like I say, it's on Facebook, is on all social media, so
Would be paranormal.
you probably see, you might see a Breaking Paranormal app out soon, maybe.
Brian.
Are you watching? Son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just want to say
What was
thanks.
Anyway, we'll see you next week, or no, not next week, couple of weeks.
Jesus, got to give this one a few weeks.
Me?
Yeah.
You never text us back.
Thank you for watching, and if you like this, like and subscribe, hit the like button, whatever you do on YouTube. Send us your money.
What?
If you do want to come on the podcast and talk about anything or promote anything you've got coming on, or any events or anything, come and get in touch with us.
And thanks for
Thanks for
watching.
watching.
Right.
See ya.
Bye. Wow, that was hard work, wasn't it? Jesus Christ.
It was you at the end.
It was him.
You were being serious. You went, I thought we've already wrapped up. I was just like, I can't hold this any longer.
Why are you recording?
This is the Breaking Paranormal documentary, guys. So this is behind the scenes of the podcast.
Behind the scenes.
Makeup artist has already gone. I also feel beautiful, not only look beautiful. I'm sort of 6 out of 10 anyway. But what we like to do now
I'm
is,
only a 5.
What?
as you can see, confidence is key when talking to the camera. Kim's falling apart.